Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name's Ari. So happy to have you here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the little bell to get notified every time I post a new video. So today we are going to be talking about the Kyren Lacy case. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have already heard about it. It's such a sad case that 2 souls were lost, and my prayers are definitely with the families. So let's talk a little bit about Kyren. Kyren was born on December 27th of 2000 in Thibodaux, Louisiana. He played football and graduated from Thibodaux High School, and he graduated in 2020. In high school, he had 54 receptions for 864 yards and 18 touchdowns. He ranked as the 10th wide receiver in Louisiana for the 2020 class. After graduating high school, he committed to play college football for the University of Louisiana at Lafayette.
That's one thing everybody can come out support me. It's been a rough journey, but I got through it. I want to thank my mom and my dad for helping me. I want to thank my family. Couldn't do it without y'all and the support. It's been With that being said, we get to
He played there for 2 seasons, and in 2022, he transferred to LSU. He then returned to LSU for the 2024 season as the #1 receiver. So yes, this young man was talented. And on December 19th, he announced he was declaring for the 2025 NFL Draft. During his college career, Kyren caught 162 passes for 2,360 yards and had 26 touchdowns in 64 games. And on December 17th, Kyren was driving his green Dodge Challenger on Louisiana Highway 20, and he veered over to the left, crossing the double lines to pass a few cars, and then he veered over back into his lane. So when Kyren veers over to the opposite lane, there's a gold pickup truck that's coming head on towards him. And in order to avoid hitting Kyren head on, he brakes or slows down from what he said. Then that makes the person driving behind him, a 2017 Kia Cadenza, have to veer off to the left onto oncoming traffic to avoid rear-ending the gold truck. Now, why would she veer over onto oncoming traffic instead of veering over to the right, where she would maybe at best hit the curb, go into the grass, or even at that rear-end the gold truck? That would have been a way better outcome than her having to veer over onto oncoming traffic. So obviously her having done that, it resulted in a head-on collision with a 2017 Kia Sorento. And the passenger in that 2017 Kia Sorento that she just collided with was 70-year-old U.S. war veteran Herman Hall. Unfortunately, Mr. Hall did not make it, and he passed away from his injuries from the accident. And according to Mr. Hall's daughter, Mr. Hall and his wife, so her parents, were out running some errands, and she actually called them a few minutes after the crash to check up on them. So when her mom answered her, she said her mom told her they had just gotten into a wreck. So obviously she asks if she's okay. She says yes, she's okay. She asks her about her dad, Mr. Hall. She said that he was fine, he was just complaining about his back.
And Hall's life is remembered in photos from beloved moments that are now cherished memories. The doting father, grandfather, and American hero served 2 tours in Vietnam, proudly fighting for his country.
He loved to garden. He loved to ride his bike. He used to ride his bike like 28 miles a day. Told great stories. He loved his family. He loved his friends.
His daughter, Heather Dickerson, remembers a happy home and a magical childhood.
He's a hard worker. He gave us a great life. We got in a head-on collision. The car's totaled. And I was like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm fine." She's like, "My chest hurts, but maybe it's from the seatbelt or the airbag." And I was like, "Okay, well, how's Dad?" And she said, "He's fine. He's complaining that his back hurts." And I was like, "Okay." She's like, "Well, I have to go." And so she hangs up, and I was like, so then she calls me back, and she said, "Hey, they're gonna airlift your dad to UMC." I was like, "Wait, what? What airman? What are you talking about? You said he was okay." She's like, "Oh, well, he will. He'll be fine." So apparently she was in shock.
Paramedics rushed Hall to New Orleans, where he was pronounced dead.
So after arriving at the hospital, unfortunately, Mr. Hall passed away. The daughter recalls, the doctors walk out with their heads down. He said, "Your dad didn't make it. I thought he made it out of surgery," and he said his heart gave out. "We gave him gallons of blood because his intestines were lacerated. His heart stopped and finally gave out." And obviously, once the daughter found out that it was Kyren Lacy, the one responsible for the crash, she wants to make sure that there's no special treatment given due to his fame. Now, when this crash happened, Kyren actually fled the scene without rendering aid or calling the police, which obviously doesn't make it look good, but in my opinion, I don't think he thought he was responsible for the crash, so he just drove around it and left.
He had no idea he caused this accident because he didn't think he caused the accident. He didn't cause the accident.
So he probably didn't think it was his responsibility to sit there and call the police, so he left. Now, as far as the driver of the Kia Cadenza, she was initially ticketed for following too close while in the ambulance, but the ticket then was changed to crossing left of center. So obviously, when the Louisiana State Police got to the scene, a lot of the witnesses started blaming this green Charger for the accident. So obviously, police started investigating who this green Charger belonged to.
Okay, so now let's take the turn and then you have to get head on.
Did you see a green Charger flying that way? A green Charger going that way?
There was a green Charger. That's a green Charger that caused all this.
SRT8, he caused all this. He went to pass the cars way back there, sir.
The green Charger collided with these cars?
He went right into
He went around that truck, okay? He was
passing up with
her right now, and she had no choice. She hits the road, she hits this.
How are the injuries? What
She
are they?
got a broken ankle.
Back injuries and then You said something about a green Charger. Who told you something about a green Charger?
I'm down 18 right there, sir.
Okay, so you saw it?
I saw it.
What did you see happen?
He went to pass him. I say when he went to pass me the cars back there around around the curve, right?
Okay.
Hey, he come down, right? When he come down, I got he had his brother that was there. He was taken to the emergency room, to the hospital, something like that, chemo, something like that.
Okay.
But I got his number also to verify this number because he was in a car that was in front of her. When that green Charger came, he went and caused this whole big traffic, so everybody went to hitting brakes. But the Charger, I thought he was hitting the gold truck head on. So he jammed on brakes. She was coming down. They was going that way. When I saw...
Which way was the Charger going? The Charger
was going this way.
Okay.
She was coming this way.
Okay.
They was going this way also. Mr. jammed on brakes. She went to dodge Mr. And that's when she came on. I was like, hit him, on the left side. She come over and hit him.
So the Charger, I guess, passed you up?
The Charger beeline, it was cars behind me because I'm taking my time.
And the Charger was passing all these cars in this
everybody.
lane? And so almost hit this one head on?
No, he almost hit this. It was a gold truck. I got his number right here. That's why I took his number and his name.
Almost hit the gold truck head on?
Yeah, that's his number and phone number and name.
The gold truck slams on
brakes and stopped the Charger. The Charger swerves back in.
Okay.
Because somebody else off, whoever was behind them.
Okay.
But then they slammed on, the Charger, he swerved in front of them. They slammed on brakes. And by this time, he slips through, right?
Okay.
As he slips through, she's coming. She like to round the back of the gold truck. That's what I'm saying.
So you almost hit the back of Miss.
Yeah,
It was Miss truck hit? Right.
Yeah.
He slams on his brakes to avoid the Charger.
Yeah.
This car, what?
Because that car off, if I'm not mistaken.
So what does this car do? It just swerves out the way to avoid. So okay, look, I know it's hurting right now, but do you think you could just tell me briefly what happened? Or do you remember?
I just know the truck was stopping on brakes. The other car was trying to pass the other car. I was trying to dodge, but not hitting them by coming around.
Okay. Do you remember how fast you were going?
The speed limit.
Okay.
And on January 10th of 2025, after identifying the green Charger, Louisiana State Police issued an arrest warrant for Kyren. Louisiana State Police said Kyren was reportedly operating the vehicle in a reckless manner, driving too fast and passing in a non-passing zone and crossing the center line. He was charged with negligent homicide, felony hit and run with death, and reckless driving. So Kyren agreed with authorities that he would actually turn himself in, and on January 12th of 2025, he did just that and he was arrested. But he quickly posted $151,000 bail on that same day. So obviously when this news came out, the backlash was huge, and the first reports portrayed Kyren in a very negative light, and many rushed to judgment before any evidence was provided. A lot of people were accusing him of actually killing Mr. Hall, because that's how the Louisiana State Police portrayed it, that it was just his fault. He was the one that caused the crash. So he got a lot of negative backlash, and I'm pretty sure that being a known person, media can, especially negative media, can really get to you. So obviously with all this negative media and the stress of being accused of murder, it really put a strain on his mental health. And on April 12th, Kyren had a verbal altercation with a family member in which he allegedly fired a gun into the ground. He then fled the scene, and when he was spotted by the police, they tried to stop him at a traffic stop and he fled. And this led to a police car chase for several miles until Kyren crashed his car. So once the chase comes to a stop after he crashes, the police try to remove Kyren from his car, but they actually found him dead from what appeared to be a self-inflicted gun wound.
Reportedly shot a weapon into the ground during an argument with family.
The victim saying that no one got shot. She's saying that someone he shot the gun and then left.
A deputy constable finding him about a half hour later. After a several miles-long chase, Lacy crashed here along Aldine Westfield in Spring. Authorities say when they tried to get him out of the car, they discovered this young man with what appeared to be a self-inflicted wound.
And he was pronounced dead at the scene. And body cam and dash cam footage have been reported to show that there were no shots fired after the car chase, which led them to the conclusion of a self-unaliving. And all of this was just 2 days before he was to present himself before a grand jury to show all the evidence of the case. So all of this was back in April, and now we're in October of 2025. And Kyren's lawyer has now released a lot of new evidence, including footage he claimed exonerated Kyren, which did show Kyren's green Charger was not involved in the crash, and his vehicle did in fact come to a complete stop. But the DA office claims that it was Kyren's actions that caused the chain of events that led to the fatal crash. Obviously, Kyren crossing the double line and moving into the opposite lane would have caused that driver to instinctively hit on his brakes or slow down, because he probably didn't know if Kyren was going to be able to safely get back into his lane. So I can kind of see where the DA is coming from. But Kyren's attorney, Matt Ory, disagrees and says that Kyren's car was so far behind the accident that it was not even visible on video. He outlined several inconsistencies between what witnesses told troopers at the scene and what was later documented in the official report.
So what you'll see is in the top left of the screen, you're going to see multiple cars just making their way south to Thibodaux, coming from Vacherie. At some point in time, you're going to see the collision, which we're going to know is vehicle number 2 from oncoming traffic colliding with the vehicle of Mr. Hall. You will see another vehicle come to a stop, and then you'll see Kyren Lacy come to a stop.
So as we've seen the video, it looks like the impact happens, and then Kyren Lacy is behind him. How far away was he from there?
Well, yeah, that's the beauty of the investigative report that I now have my hands on. We know from data that Kyren Lacy did in fact pass 4 cars. There's no disputing that. Further north, Kyren Lacy passed 4 cars. However, he was back in his lane of travel, 92.3 yards. Back in his lane, behind Mr. Hall. At the time of impact, he's 72.6 yards behind the vehicles at the time of impact. Keyword, behind the vehicles. That is not how this story was ever painted. Never.
Any part of the district attorney's investigation that talked about Mr. Lacy getting back, I guess we call it, what do you call it, correcting or getting in your proper lane?
Sure, he was back in his proper lane according to their data. This isn't my expert. This is the investigation of the Lafourche Parish District Attorney's Office. So I'm here simply comparing and contrasting the District Attorney's Office with State Police in this matter. And in that investigation, it shows that he was back in his correct lane of travel. 92.3 yards. Before this incident occurred, he was back in his lane.
What does the legal law state about where you should be behind? Or I want to say I thought it was 100 feet. Is that correct?
It is correct. You know, take out the fact here that it's a no passing zone. If it weren't at this time, it's 100 feet. What we know now is he was 3 times legally what he needed to be back in his lane of traffic. If we're looking at this, and of course this isn't to scale, and I can't draw, but what you see here is vehicle 3. That is Mr. Hall's vehicle. This is another vehicle between Mr. Lacy and Mr. Hall.
Okay.
This is the gold truck that's referenced in the report. This is heading north. So this is the lead vehicle heading north. And the vehicle that actually collided with Mr. Hall's vehicle, that would be vehicle 2. All right? So through the course of this now, we started investigating and dissecting everything we possibly can. Mm-hmm. When we do that, we start with vehicle 2, right? So what do I know now about vehicle 2? Vehicle 2 was tailgating, all right? According to the data, again, of the district attorney's office, not me, according to their data, tailgating at 49.6 miles an hour, 0.5 seconds behind the gold truck, 1.5 seconds before the crash. So again, if that did make sense, she is following 0.5 seconds behind this vehicle, 0.5 seconds behind that vehicle, 1.5 seconds before the crash at over 49 miles an hour. 0.5. When we get our hands on it, I'm looking at the data from that particular vehicle. That data in that vehicle shows me 5 seconds previous to this crash. 5. I'm looking at it, and you're going to show it. 5 seconds previous to this crash, she maintained a speed of 49.6 miles an hour, never activating the EBS system until 0.5 seconds before the crash. Why is that important? Because if your story, which we'll get into, keeps getting bigger and bigger, and you had all this time to see the gold truck, in her words, stomp on their brakes, slam on their brakes, come to a stop, veer off the road. I see another vehicle approaching. I see the Charger approaching. Well, my question to you now becomes, how did you see that vehicle approaching, or him stop, or him slam on his brakes, yet your data says you never touched your brake prior to 0.5 seconds before that crash? I'm looking right now, so are you, at the last 5 seconds according to her. Her car's black box, not mine, not my expert. That's her car. So if you're going to tell me a 5 to 10 second elaborate story, it needs to make sense. And when you have the data, not only doesn't it add up, it's not possible. You turn 75 degrees to the left all of a sudden. That's what happens when you tailgate. Now, interestingly enough, this vehicle was actually, when this woman was in the ambulance, they issued her a ticket. All right, you know for what? Take a wild guess. Following too close. Ticket was taken away. The gold truck, the lead vehicle in oncoming traffic, who, by the way, is probably one of the 2 most important witnesses in this entire case. We know now that 2.99 seconds prior to him pulling off the road, he was traveling 28 miles an hour. 28 miles an hour. Now, you're going to hear his statement in a little while, and it's going to all make sense. There are 2 vehicles that we're talking about right now that are traveling north. The second vehicle in oncoming traffic, which is vehicle 2, their data says she is tailgating. She is 0.5 seconds at 49.6 miles an hour. 1.5 seconds before the crash.
Did she give any police report or anything?
Oh, absolutely. This particular individual, and for purposes of this report, I'd like you, Morton, this is page 9, if you could follow along to make sure I'm not misquoting a single thing.
All right.
All right. I'm looking at the investigative report of the district attorney's office. And then here you can see this is their investigator looking at vehicle 2's statements, and now he's analyzing. He says, upon reviewing the body cam video of the trooper from the scene, the following statement was made by, we'll call her vehicle 2, right? I just know the truck was stomping on brakes. The other was trying to pass the other car. I was trying to dodge by not hitting him, by coming around. When the trooper asked how fast she was going, she replied the speed limit. He next says, I reviewed the recorded interview and the written statement from vehicle 2 while she was in the hospital on January 3rd, 2025. Below is a synopsis of that interview. And at very first it says, all I can see is that a car is coming this way and the car in front of me, right before the crash. I'm looking at the pickup truck in front of me. That's all they see for the moment. I'm eating my Funyuns. I got in the middle of my lap and I'm driving. I'm listening to my music. All of a sudden, I see the car get in the other person's lane. The truck, end quote, steps on his brakes. First, so it slows down. But then he does it again, and this time it's really hard. That's when you can see on the other side, the car is trying to get back over. But before he can get over, the truck stops in the middle, like on the brakes, hard. There's another car that runs damn near into the pole. It's either I run into him or I try to get out the way, so I'm trying to get into the dollar store parking lot. Then the other car just comes and slams into me. The trooper asks, vehicle 2, whenever you're looking forward, or the cars in front of you, they swerve off to the right before you make your left, or are you looking at a green Charger coming at you? Or vehicle 2 responded with, the green Charger came, and then the car behind me, behind them, the truck, the van, whatever. The trooper does not ask any further follow-up questions to get a better understanding of what she was saying for this answer. Now remember, I'm reading what the investigator's saying. During this interview with the trooper, vehicle 2 made several statements that do not match the submitted report or written statement. Instead of questioning vehicle 2 for more details, the trooper attempted to recap what she was saying, which seems to contradict her statements. While doing this, the trooper is the first to talk about the gold truck swerving off to the right. Then when it came to obtaining the written statement, the trooper tells vehicle 2 what to document on the statement as she is writing.
Do we have any data on the gold truck?
2.99 seconds before the gold truck eases off to the road. Okay. Eases off of the road.
Right.
He's traveling at 28 miles an hour. That all is in this report.
Yeah, that's my question.
You watch someone slam on their brakes. You watch them stop. You watched a car charge coming at you in your lane of traffic, but you never thought to just tap the brakes. I'm looking at that gold truck. I want to know what they said, when they said it, what were the circumstances, how did this come about? And this is where it really starts tying together, right? The gold truck, they end up getting a statement from this individual. There's two of them. The very first one, what I noticed on the body cam was that the conversation was going on for 4 minutes and approximately 30 seconds prior to the body cam being activated. And of course, when the body cam's activated, I don't know what you said those previous 4.5 minutes, they end up at this individual's house to obtain a statement. I want to play right now how that statement started.
All right, sir. So, look, don't worry about filling any of this top information, like your name, your address. Don't worry about any of that. Just right here, if you could, I'll just have you write exactly what you saw. Just make sure to include, where you were.
I don't even know what the name of that highway.
It's Highway 20. Highway 20. That you just.
All right, me and my wife gonna figure out right quick.
Okay, just make sure you add in there that you had to slam on your brakes and the brakes, you had to slam on the brakes to avoid that charger, and the brakes locked up to avoid that charger. That's.
I ain't skid mark or nothing. I would have been gone for it. The lady in the back of me, she didn't say what happened. That's how she called that wreck. She was running in the back of me. She pulled on the other side, and that's not in it.
So, but the charger was coming right at you, correct? And that's why you had to slam on your brake, head on with you. So yeah, just make sure you include that, and that's very important because we're trying to locate this charger right now. So just include that in the statement, and I'll read it over, and then I'll be out of here.
In that video, you can clearly hear the suggestive nature indicating that I need you to say that you had to slam on your brakes and you had to avoid a charger.
Okay, just make sure you add in there that you had to slam on your brakes and the brakes, you had to slam on the brakes to avoid that charger, and the brakes locked up to avoid that charger. That's.
But then you hear Gold Truck, the witness, who's the Gold Truck, what he says. And he says verbatim.
I ain't skid mark or nothing. I would have been gone for it. The lady in the back of me, she didn't say what happened. And she called the wreck. She was running in the back of me. She pulled on the other side, and that's not in it.
I didn't skid marked or nothing because I wasn't even going that fast. That lady in the back of me, she didn't see what's happening. That's how she caused that wreck. She was gonna run into the back of me and she pulled into the other side. But there's a bigger problem. I then obtained the actual written statement. After the statement we just went through, notice, I've obviously redacted names, addresses, and the cell phone number, in fairness to the individual who is Gold Truck. See, the problem with that statement is, it is in direct contravention to what was said minutes earlier. It's not written by him, and where it says signed, it's not signed, it's refused.
So that body cam obviously shows the trooper coaching the truck driver on what to write on his statement, which he even refused to sign.
He specifically stated she caused that accident, but I've got an affidavit for arrest warrant right here. Nowhere in here does it say anything that you guys just saw on body cam. To the contrary, about that vehicle, it says the Gold Truck took evasive action by emergency braking and driving off the roadway to avoid a head-on crash. But you just heard he said, I wasn't even going fast. I didn't even skid mark. So what emergency braking are we referring to here? And what the hell was the point of this report?
So, but the charger was coming right at you, correct? And that's why you had to slam on your brake, head on with you. So yeah, just make sure you include that, and that's very important because we're trying to locate this charger right now. So just include that in the statement, and I'll read it over, and then I'll be out of here. Okay?
By the way, the body cam wasn't on for this statement. It was turned off before obtaining this statement. I can't make this up. This is what people just don't get to see. And again, I'm not saying this intentional. I'm saying people commit to a story and they don't back down. They actually thought at one point in time that she collided with the Gold Truck. The very last line of the report from the district attorney's office says, the evidence submitted in the crash report does not support that Kyren Lacy should have known that his actions were the cause of the crash that happened approximately 72 yards in front of him. He was actually the second car to pull up behind, not even the first. At no point in time did he have to slam his brakes. He wasn't even close to the second car. He just eased in. He eased in. He went straight from there to the facility in Trevor for his football practice. Look, man, you got a young kid that's getting assassinated on public media, social media. He begged me to help him. I was already helping, but it was a consistent deal, obviously, meaning far after representation, begging me to help him. And when I told him that they had video surveillance of this whole thing, it was like he was relieved for a second. Because I think in his mind, he thought that, which most did, most people that I talk to think that he actually hit the vehicle or he barely got past him and then they collided. That was the narrative that I heard the most. The big narrative spun was, and this is very important, that he was actively passing at the time of this accident. That is extremely important. We know now that is 100% false. The conclusion of the district attorney's report. They state in here that they gave the impression that Kyren Lacy was actively passing vehicles when the crash occurred, which is incorrect. He did pass 4 vehicles, but was back in the southbound lane before the crash occurred.
Kyren was very close to being vindicated.
Yeah, so in my opinion, enough started adding up to me to know that there were holes all over this thing, right? So it's the policy of the Lafourche Parish District Attorney's Office that all homicides go to a grand jury. We were nearing that grand jury, right? Where all of this was coming out. Everything I'm telling you now is going to be presented to a grand jury in a fair, neutral, and impartial manner. So, in my opinion, this never survives a grand jury. We were 48 hours from that, from this report getting to the grand jury. There's a man who passed away other than Kyren Lacy, and his life was just as important as Kyren Lacy.
And that was one thing I regretted, and I would tell the family that I didn't spend enough time talking about Mr. Hall. He's deceased, and just paying our respects to their family too, because they're grieving, and naturally they're going through a lot of turmoil too.
That's all we're after here, is a better picture of the truth. That's it. I don't know that the Houston part of this story didn't upset me more than the front end. Let me just say this. Kyren Lacy went to Houston that Friday with his mind made. He was suffering. There was a point in time that night at his apartment, the apartment that he, his little brother, and his cousin were in. His mind was made. He wanted the keys to that vehicle to, I don't know how to say this, to
take his life.
Yeah. It's either you give me my keys and I do this on my own accord, or this is going to go down right here, right now. Obviously, the keys were given. A welfare call was made. Keyword, welfare. Welfare check. Right? There was no crime. There's none of that, man. None of that BS.
Wasn't there a shot fired or something?
That's how he got his keys. I think that's how you're showing him. And by the way, the shot was fired in the ground on purpose to let them know the seriousness of what was going on in his head.
So he wanted their attention.
He wanted his keys, and they knew not to give him his keys. They knew what was going to happen. But what are you going to do? You going to watch it go down, or are you going to give him his keys?
Right.
His mind was made. Social media killed him. All those tough guys behind the computer, same ones that come after me when I do this interview, those guys.
A young man could not get used to it.
They're kids, man. The difference between you and I, Martin, and them, they don't know anything else other than those devices.
Right.
And the sad part about all of this, guys, is that after his death, his lawyer and his agent stated that they believed that the evidence they had would lead to a declination of charges. So they didn't even believe that the grand jury would even pick up the case. And now I wonder if the lawyer had all this evidence prior, or if he got it after his death. Because if he had all of this before his death, why wouldn't he reassure him that he was going to be okay? I mean, maybe he did, and Kyren just didn't know how to handle it. Obviously, being accused of such a big crime, it definitely can't be easy. And him being so young. So obviously, Kyren's death has sparked up conversation now about mental health, particularly in young Black men enduring high stress. And his dad has appeared on podcasts and in media interviews to share his grief and discuss the ongoing legal and mental health issues related to his son's passing.
Checking on your kids' mental is seeing and not just seeing. I mean, you have to feel how they feel. When you battling something inside, man, it's something we can't even explain, man.
Kenny now using his son's platform to encourage other parents to have the talks with their kids. It's one he wishes he could have now.
I want to do my best to help prevent this from happening to any other family. But just talk to them and find out what's going on. Don't be scared to talk to them. And if they don't want to talk at that time, find a time that they want to talk. You have to check on them kids' mental, man. It's imperative, because without you checking on them, they're going to tell you whatever you want to hear.
Obviously, as a parent, we can only do as much as we can, and maybe sometimes our kids don't reach out to us for help, and it's hard to pinpoint when they're struggling. I know that his dad probably wishes he knew that his son was struggling that bad to where he was contemplating taking his own life. Nonetheless, I'm happy that he is bringing awareness to such a delicate issue. You know, we've talked about it here on this channel about men's mental health and how a lot of men don't ask for help and don't accept help. And hopefully, if we keep advocating, more and more men will accept that help, and maybe it can lead to less and less tragedies. And with all this new information, obviously a lot of people are really angry and enraged at how the Louisiana State Police portrayed Kyren. They believe that it was not fair for them to portray him in such a negative light without even having all the evidence.
He was supposed to be in the NFL. Kyren Lacy was accused of something and being investigated for something that he didn't do, and he died having to live with the guilt and the consequences of a guilty man knowing he was innocent. It recently was discovered that he was 72 yards away from the crash, that police and state policemen tried to coerce and doctor and use ways to manipulate statements.
This whole situation unfolding, the news that's coming out, from Kyren Lacy's lawyer, and the information, that's coming out with that case and the videos being released, and it messed me up because it's like, for whatever reason, people make up a story. Oh, he caused this crash. We all seen on the video. Was way behind when the crash happened. Rode clean around it. Ain't have nothing. And then they pin this on him. Mm-hmm. And so now I'm losing my draft stock. I'm being ridiculed in the media. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't go to the combine, all this stuff, and I'm dealing with so much already as a student athlete, and then transitioning. Mm-hmm. Like it's already a hard enough transition, and then had to have all this stuff happen, and no, you had no part in it.
Had nothing to do with it. Right.
Had no part in it at all.
The pigs coerced the witness.
Yeah, let's not also forget
and told them to say that. So y'all be acting like stuff ain't against this. And you see it in real time. Hey, and then one more thing, y'all didn't have no audacity. They killed him in the media for weeks when he was doing that. Not one person said nothing. I don't see no moment of silence at no football games. I ain't seen nothing going on about
That's
it.
why I'm calling out
else is
ESPN,
crazy
because they was running them slander campaigns.
And obviously a lot of people are also blaming the driver of the Kia Cadenza because she basically just pointed the finger and blamed Kyren, which maybe in her opinion it was his fault, but let's take accountability. Let's talk about this. In my opinion, believe that maybe Kyren did have some kind of blame to it if the gold truck indeed hit his brakes or slowed down because he was trying to avoid Kyren. If that was the case, then Kyren, in fact, had some blame to the events that unfolded. But nonetheless, the lady from the Kia Cadenza has some blame too, and maybe even more blame, because who in their right mind veers off to incoming traffic to try to avoid a collision? You're literally veering off to a for sure collision, trying to avoid one. And in this case, when I looked at the video, she easily could have veered off to the right where there was grass. At the very least, she would have hit the pavement, or even at that, she could have just rear-ended the truck. That would have been way better off, and Mr. Hall would be alive. So in my opinion, from the reports, she was 1, eating Funyuns, 2, jamming out to music, which I get it, we can all jam out to music when we're riding around, and she was tailgating this truck. So obviously when this person hit their brakes or slowed down, she did not have enough time to react because she was too busy eating her Funyuns, too busy singing along with her radio, and then she was too close. And clearly her mind didn't work fast enough to think, wait, let me veer off to the grass instead onto incoming cars. So I definitely think she should be charged for something, because I think she had more blame than Kyren did, and I can completely understand the outrage that everybody has right now, because this young man with so much talent and potential is gone just because this lady driving the Kia Cadenza did not take responsibility. In a way, yes, he started the chain of events, but at the end of the day, how that lady reacted was the cause for Mr. Hall's death. Some Democratic parties from Louisiana have come out and spoke about this situation. They said the accusations against Kyren Lacy were deeply troubling and an example of how false reporting by some in law enforcement can destroy lives and damage public trust. The party is also advocating for the creation of the Lacy Law, which would impose penalties on officers or agencies that knowingly misrepresent evidence. I fully support this, and I definitely think that Louisiana State Police officer should be held accountable, because in the video we clearly can see that he is telling this man what to write. And this man, he refused to sign. He refused to sign, meaning he did not agree with that statement. And clearly in the video, he verbally was saying the complete opposite, meaning that in his eyes, he did not think Kyren was to blame. And sadly, now he's gone. There's no turning back on that. That lady should be charged too. Kyren was only 24 years old. So talented, with so much ahead of him. And sadly, it seems that the Vikings and the Saints were actually interested in him. So I'm pretty positive he would have gone on to the NFL. And now he's gone. My prayers are with Mr. Hall's family and with Kyren's family. Have you guys heard about this case, guys? I know that a lot of people have. It's obviously been going viral recently, especially with the new information that his lawyer has just recently come out with. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that Kyren was to blame? The lady? Both? Nonetheless, it's a sad situation and there's nothing we can do about it now, but pray for change and advocate for mental health. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments, and as always, please remain respectful for the victims and the families. And thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye guys.